Dee, so much awesome stuff that we get to see and share with you. One of the great traditions of Ironman and the Ironman World Championship is a celebration of athletes who race, for something bigger than themselves. And that, of course, is the Ironman Foundation. It's massive. It speaks to much larger. It just speaks to, I don't know, purpose, right? So it gives you that connection to something else. I'm a big, big fan. And the stories we get to see have been just touching, inspirational, everything. Stories like the one of Roderick Sewell. Mark Allen said it was his favorite memory in Kona outside of winning his first race ever. So Roderick Sewell, this guy, he is the first bilateral double above the knee amputee finisher of the race. And think about that for a second. He went for it. He did it. He came and touched us all. And we had him on his live show. I mean, I can't say enough, so I won't. I'm going to say this. We're going to let you see for yourself how awesome is Roderick Sewell. Take a look here.
When I was born, I had missing tibias in both legs. So the doctors gave my mom the opportunity of either amputating my legs or putting me in a wheelchair. At the time, I think her and my dad had just divorced, so it was all on her. She went to family, friends, and they all disagreed, but she decided to get my legs amputated. They told her that my life would be better in a wheelchair and that, I wouldn't have much of a life as an amputee.
He was a good baby, a very good baby. But in the beginning, when he started learning how to crawl, I could hear him whimper when he was crawling. So that's when I decided to get him amputated.
When it came to my prosthetics, they're a little bit more expensive than what she could afford. So what they told her is if she filed for unemployment, they would get full coverage for prosthetics. A huge sacrifice, even to this day. She sacrificed her job, filed for unemployment. We ended up homeless. I got my legs, first pair, and been walking ever since. I was told I couldn't run. I was like, of course I can. I have the ability to run, I just don't know how. You put a kid in running blades who hasn't ran their whole life and finally has the ability to run, they're not gonna take them off.
Roderick had never seen anybody else like himself. And so, of course, the first thing we do is we bring Rudy Garcia-Tolson, who is also a double above knee amputee. They sort of grew up together. Roderick was petrified of the water, and I still remember Roderick had his arms wrapped around Rudy's neck.
I used to be so afraid of the water that I wouldn't get in. And one time he put me on his back. That was the start of, in my mind, seeing the kind of person that Rudy was.
I don't know what it was, but it was like we were like long lost brothers. He was actually the first kid that I ever met who was like me. It was one of those things where we didn't really have to talk much about, what we were going through or what we might find hard or anything. We just had a connection right away.
If Roderick is able to make all the cutoff times and finish here, it'll be groundbreaking. Roderick doesn't have knees, right? So he doesn't have quads or hamstrings. He's missing all of that. Here's a guy doing it swimming, using a kneeler, and running. Somebody has never done that.
He's been blessed by the biggest ohana I've ever seen in my life. Sometimes things are bigger than you, and you just have to let go and let it happen.
See and appreciate everything you've got and take what you have and use whatever you have. I do the best with what God gave me, and this is all I have. This is it, me.
Gratitude, it's a powerful thing. Pair that with self-belief, and nothing will stand in the way of redefining what is possible.
And I tell you what, we are fortunate enough to have the man himself, Roderick Sewell, on the show. Roderick, it is so great to see you. How you feeling, my friend?
Doing well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, man, absolutely.
Roderick, I look back at that video. I remember back to last year's race, sitting up in the commentary booth in the closing hours of the race, watching you cross that finish line, tears streaming down my face. Literally the most amazing thing I have ever seen in sport. Mark Allen said on our broadcast last week that you crossing that finish line was the most powerful and touching moment and his favorite memory in Ironman World Championship history. Looking back on that footage, number one, what did that experience mean for you? But what does it mean to you that your accomplishment, your achievement on the Big Island last year had such impact on so many other people?
For Mark Allen to say that about me is pretty amazing. And honestly, anybody who's done an Ironman knows, regardless of how you do it, is life changing. And it's been that since the event.
That's it. Oh, and it's funny because I don't find myself getting tongue-tied often, Roderick, but you do that to me because you're just so genuine. And yeah, you really are. The smile and what you deliver, it just, I mean, it makes me want to hug you. I felt this when I met you. Sorry, I won't hug you, don't worry. But like I met you and your mom, Marion, and we got to chat. How's she doing? How's your family? How are you guys both doing?
She's doing well. And the one thing I've expressed a lot since last year, honestly, it's crazy. It's been a year now. It's definitely set off a spark in the family. My mom went back to school to be a CNA. And, obviously this year with COVID popping off, we kind of took a step back and appreciated our health. And she isn't using that schooling yet, but she is, that's her heart. That's what she wants to do. She wants to help people. And I've seen family members now going back to school. I see family members who I've never met before that are, just interested in learning more about me and seeing what this inspiration can do for them has been pretty remarkable.
Awesome.
So great. You've done so much outside of your own accomplishments. You've done so much to build diversity and inclusion in our sport, and we celebrate that. Can you tell us a little bit about the work you've done with the Challenge Athletes Foundation and how fellow Ironman legend Rudy Garcia-Tolson came into your life and how you guys work together to build opportunities for other athletes?
So Rudy's been with CAF a lot longer than I have, but I've been with CAF close to 20 years now. I was about 8 years old when I got involved with them, got my first pair of swim lessons, my first swim lessons and my first pair of running legs, my first hand cycle. And, I got introduced to sports because of CAF. I was up to 8 years old. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't being active. I didn't know I could do anything like that. And for me to find a community of people who are doing adaptive sports and really not letting their disability stop them from living a great life was exactly what I needed. I don't think I would have got to this point today if I didn't have that support behind me.
Oh, so good. He's another light in the sport that we've been watching since he was like a little kid, because Didi and I are a little older. Check this, Roderick. This is my question. Let's get right to it. You're training for Tokyo, I believe, in the Paralympics. How's that going?
Yes. This week has really beat me down. I don't know if you can tell, but I am extremely tired right now.
You seem a little tired. A little tired.
Today's my recovery day. Cycling has been my focus right now. I fell in love with the bike after training for Kona, after putting so many hours on the bike. And swimming, my main event is the 100-meter breaststroke. So I've been doing a lot of distance swimming with a little bit of sprinting, but definitely more time on the bike. So it's coming along for sure.
Wow.
That's good stuff. We cheer you on in that endeavor. And I know you've also done a lot with the Ironman Foundation. You are 100% one of those athletes who truly races for more. As you know, this year's Ironman World Championship theme is E Olamau, keep on living. We've asked everybody that's come on the show so far, what does that mean to you? How does that resonate with you?
I feel like that's, last year being Ohana family was remarkable, but this year, keep on living, I feel like that's something that everybody can take home. With the pandemic popping off and everything going on with the injustices in our country, it definitely given me time to step back and appreciate my life and appreciate my health and appreciate the people around me. And honestly, this sounds crazy, but with the Paralympics being postponed to next year, I've never had so much time to spend with family before in a long time. I have family in North Carolina, Alabama. I was all over the place: Colorado, Milwaukee, Florida. And it's people that I haven't seen or family that I'd never met. And so to have that connection, and for all of us to say, we're in this together is worth it. That's what it's about.
Oh, so good. Great answer. Great to see you. We have to thank you for your time and let you get some recovery, some rest. But I'll
Thank
say
you.
this. We want to send you a lot of aloha. You're part of our ohana, and we're grateful to have you on the show and so glad to see you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.